Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this lesson, we will learn about the hook of ReactJS in useEffect. The lesson will have the two sections. Section 1 we learn why were this hook bond, and the second section we learn how to use it. So the first things, why was this hook bond? What's a ball function component? When we pass in the same input like props on stage, during rendering, calculations are performed and no interaction with the external environment. And finally, return the same output, check X. This is a function component. And side effects, interactions with the external environment, including stay outside the scope of the function component. Example, rest dot current or global variables. And external system like fetch, set timeout, set interval, window, or APIs of third parties. And React doesn't let these side effects happen during rendering and displaying the UIs because it will loss of the poor and slow down UI rendering. A hook created a U effect, so now all things related to side effects will put inside U effect hook, and React can control all things related to side effects activities, and therefore a function component continue poor, and now UI rendering on the screen is not slow down. And now we learn how to use it. So inside here, we have the function component with the name EF. Inside of it, we use the hook use state in here, and it will return an array. And the first value of array is state variable with the name is so, and the second value of array is the function is set so will update the value of so. And we have initial value is true, a initial value of so, and we return the div element in here. Inside of us, we have the button in here. So when we click in the button, it will call the set so in here and will update the state so. If the value of so is true, it will update to font and other hand. So in here, we have the child function component with the name is button. And when show is true, the button is show. When show is false, the button is hide. In here, we have the button component. And inside of it, we use the use state hook of ReactJS. And it returns array. And the first value of array is state variable with the name is width. And the second value of array is set width. So set width we update the value of width in here. The initial value of width is 100, and below it we have the console is rendered in here to see the component render. And also we return the button. So I have the background color is set red in here, and the width is have the value of width variable in here is 100. And when we click on the button, set width will call and the callback function will run. And here's and the new value of width is update, and the old value is 100, and the new value is 100 plus 30, and finally we have the new value of width is 130 pixels. So in the right side we can see we have the UI. You can have the hide button in here with green background color is from parent component. In here, as we have the red background color with click label in here a from the child component a button right here. So to use the uEffect hook, it's very easy. It's above return in child component. We use hook by call uEffect in here, and inside of it we have the two value. The first value we pass a callback function. And the second value a here is dependency array. So dependency array is optional. We can't remove it in here. And inside useEffect callback function right here, we have the two paths. The first path a setup. We can console here to see setup. And we have the second path a link up. We can return callback function in here and console link up. So above the return a setup path, and inside the return a cleanup path. So useEffect hook will run with the life cycle of components have the three progress. So the first a mount when components a render in the first, and the second is update when component re-render, and finally is a unmount when component remove from the DOM and hide in the screen. So in the first batch, in the first process, a mount. So when I say it, you can see useEffect a applied when component in the first render. In the bottom, you can see we have a component render and the setup work as in the beginnings when component render in the first time, the setup will run execute in here, and the cleanup path in here is not executed. So it seems like when we have the dependency or not have a dependency in here, when I say it, it's the same. We have the render components, and after that, the setup path will run. So when components update or re-render, useEffect hook will work. To demonstrate it, when I click the click button right here, the width of it will increase 30 pixels, and you can see the component re-renders because we use the function useWidth to update the value of width variable in here. So component re-render again, and you can see useEffect hook work. When I click, I can delete in here and click the click button. You can see component re-renders and two paths a work. So the cleanup will work in the beginnings, and after that a setup work. So when we don't have the dependency array, it works like this. And when I click continue, you can see re-render and cleanup work, and after that a setup work. So when we have the dependency, so the first thing, array dependency here is empty. We have the first case empty. So when we render component in the first time, component render and setup work, here's setup work. But when I click the click button in here to re-render component, you can see what happens in the below in here. So component renders, but all the codes inside useEffect is not work when component or array dependency is empty. So we have the value in the second case. We have the value inside dependency array. When in here I use which inside useEffect hook in here. So example I comma and with in here. When I say it, you can see it have the warning. React hook useEffect has missing dependency, which either includes or remove the dependency array. So it will have the high in here. So we must put the first thing we must put the width inside dependency array. When I say it, you can see the warning it disappears. And the second way, we can remove all the dependency array as is same light. So when in here, because when we put the weight inside useEffect hook, we need to put it inside the dependency array, because with a variable and it can change the value when component re-renders. So when we use it inside the useEffect hook, we need to put it inside dependency array. But when I have the example in here, I have the info variable in here and have value is in here as a child. So when I have a import in here, but when I say it, you can see it's no have the warnings, because import is the same when component re-render. It's have the same value a child and not change. But when import is objects like this, when I say it, you can see this is the warning when we need to boost info inside here. When I say it, and the warning it disappears, because info is reference variable here object right here. So with the reference variable, it will different when component re-renders. Because you can see I have an example when I have the age, have the value age is 20, and also we have the b is also 20, a 20, and when I compare age equal b, so the result is false. So because we use the reference value is object, so when component re-renders objects always a different. Oh, I can remove info in right here. So also if in here when with a difference between the old value and new value when component re-renders, so useEffect hook will execute code inside of it. So I have in here when I click, we can see React component will re-render and React will checking the width value, and it see the width value a have the value a 100 and the new value a 130. So it will run cost inside useEffect hook, and the first thing it will run clean up, and after that it will run the setup path in here. So you can see here's component render and clean up will run before the setup. So clean up will hold the old value of which I can say, you can see when I click, you can see component re-render clean up will run and hold the old value of which is 100, and the setup will hold the new value of which is 130. So if we have the value example, I have the here's a cow, and we have the function a set cow, and we use the hook a use stage, and we have a initial value for cow is 0, and after that we use the cow inside console. So have the warning we need to put cow inside dependency array. In here I have need to put cow in here. So now when component re-render, React will checking which or cow. If it have the difference value from old value and new value, it will run the code inside useEffect hook, and the cleanup path will run before the setup path. And when I remove it, so it have here, so it now have the cow. You can see the cow because we don't use the set cow function in here, so it's always a 0 value in here. When we re-render component many times, it's also maintain the value is 0. So when I click in here, so you can see component re-rendered, but the code inside useEffect hook is not executed because when component re-render, React will checking the value of count variable in here. So it see the count variable is not changed when component re-render from old value and new value and maintains the value is 0. So it's not execute all things inside useEffect hook. So also we have the finally process of lifecycle components is unmount. Unmount is when component removed from DOM tree. So when I click the hide button from parent component, so it will remove the child components in here because the now show it have the value in font and it will return the fragment in here and the button component will disappear. So when I click the hide button, you can see what happened. So the clean up path will work in here and the setup path will not have work. So you can see when we unmount the component, so the clean up path in here will work. So we have the useEffect hook follow with treat process of lifecycle of component is mount and update and finally is unmount. So I have the example for you can see in the real life. So clean up path in here is very useful for us by using interval. In here I can remove. So I use set interval inside set interval. And after 1 second, I copy function will call and console hello. 1 second. So when I say it, you can see when components in the render in the first time, the setup path will work and clean up path will not work. And set timeout, set interval will work and we can see after 1 second, it will console a hello message in here after 1 second. So when in component re-render in here by I click the button in here, you can see what happened. I click. Now you can see the hello message is print very fast in here. It's not print only after 1 second, but you can see it's in 1 second it's print a lot of message hello in here because you can see when the first time set interval is run in background and print the hello message and after the component re-render the set interval in the O is not removed but now we have a add more set interval we have the second set interval and the first set interval and the second set interval will run asynchronous and in background so it's not dependent on other so we can have the console hello in here by using the two set interval. So and I click so you can see now it's print further with hello message. To solve the problem in the cleanup in here, we need to use the clear interval and we pass the value of each a. In here, I use the variable interval equal set interval as I pass interval inside clear interval in here. So when I say it, you can see in the first time component render is run in the normal. But when I click for component re-render again, so you can see the hello message also print in after 1 second. You can see 1 second and hello message a print is also slow. And after I click, you can see after 1 second, it's print hello. Because you can see, I explain for you. In the first, when component a render, setup in here it will run and set interval will run as console hello after 1 second. And when I click component re-render and clean up batch will run first, and we use the clear interval and we remove the O interval in here. And after that, we run the setup batch in here and the new interval will run. And after 1 second, we have the message in hello. So when we click in here, the O clear interval will remove and the new interval is created. So when we unmount, what happens when we unmount, when we don't have the clear interval? So you can see the unmount component removed from the DOM, but you can see we have the hello message. When I click the hide to unmount the component, the child component button right here, you can see the hello message is continue to run because the set interval is asynchronous activity and it's run from background. So it makes the memory lit and it makes the performance for us. So to solve the problem, we use the clean interval in here to clean up the interval when we unmount the component. So when I say, we can see we have hello when I hide unmount component and the hello message is not run because when we know before when we unmount the component and clean up batch in here it work and the setup batch is not work, and with clean up batch it work, it will clear interval a remove the O interval in here as we don't see the message hello after 1 second. So in this lessons, we learned about useEffect hook in ReactJS through wise useEffect hook bond and discover how to use it by using in here. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you like this video, you can click the like button below. Also subscribe for my channel. And bye everyone and see you in the next video.